All right, so welcome to the prepping contest on pause webinar. Thanks for checking us out. I can see tons of you folks filtering in. Thanks for showing up today. I am actually running a slightly different setup than we normally use for live webinars. And if I could get somebody to raise their hand, ask a question, or just give me some feedback that A, you guys can see the OCB logo and the title of the webinar, as well as hear my audio. So Carrie and Joe, can you guys hear the audio? Heather, how about you? Right on, right on, right on. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to give it probably like 30 seconds or so, and then we are going to get rolling. Before we do that, and as people are kind of still filtering in, do you guys prefer a weekend webinar? We typically have done this on weekdays during the day, and I know outside of shutdown, lockdown, a lot of folks have to work, but if you guys would prefer that if we're going to do these events, we do them on the weekend, I would certainly be willing to do so. We want to try and help as many people as we possibly can. And if that works better, we'll definitely do that. Thanks, Meg. Thanks, Janet. I appreciate the feedback, everybody. All right, so we're gonna give it another 30 seconds. Heather, thank you. Prefers weekends, right on. All right, it's 9:01 Central Standard Time, 10:01 on the East Coast. If they were interested, they would be here. If they're busy and running late, they can show up late and join us in progress. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. So everybody can see the OCB logo. Prep contest on pause. This is kind of the reality for all of us right now. That's okay. We're going to kind of work our way through this, hopefully help you guys out. Before we get started, who am I? That's me. My name is Ray Binkowski. I promote the OCB Midwest States and the OCB Spring Naturals going all the way back to 05 to date. Our team has promoted 22 contests in 2020. Santa, you're absolutely welcome. Thanks for showing up. In 2020, we will promote our 23rd and 24th contests. I believe that's what the numbers are. Former fat guy, lost 60 pounds back in the mid 90s, kept it off now for over 24 years, something like that. I've written 4 books. I've competed, I've judged, I've promoted. Most recently, I own a 15,000 square foot commercial health club and hybrid training gym. That is of value simply because I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of trainers on my staff, as well as thousands of people in the gym. So I'm going to try and share some of what we saw work in our commercial gym, as well as what we've seen from a coaching standpoint for working with competitors. Current reality. Now, somebody, if you don't know who that picture is, that's Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad. I did show this slide to somebody. They said, you really shouldn't put that on there. Well, I think I should. Salamanca was always hitting his bell. He had limited use of his arms and couldn't communicate outside of ringing a bell. And that's kind of where we are right now. I'm guessing everybody out there feels this way, and you can go ahead and raise your hand digitally. But a big question mark, right? A big, like, what in the world is going on? A little bit of panic, a little bit of, you know, what's next? What does this mean in terms of family, your health, your wellness, your career? And then also what we do from an athletic standpoint, which is get on stage and compete. To start off, we're going to kind of hit the pause button a little bit. We're going to put this on pause. We're going to have everybody take a deep breath, kind of have an own moment, relax a little bit. So you're sitting there watching this, smile, you'll feel better. Your body will thank you. And then what we're going to do today is kind of keep calm and make a plan. We're going to talk a little bit, somewhat in generalities, because I don't know each of you that are on the webinar today. I don't know where any of you were in regards to your prep, what contest you plan to do, if it was canceled or postponed, and that's okay. That's okay. We're still going to give you some tools, hopefully empower you to A, have a plan, B, start executing the plan, C, feel good about having a plan and doing something productive instead of just spinning your wheels. as well as starting to look at the future contests, getting on stage, etc. So for any of you that were in an active prep situation and that kind of ended because your show was postponed, it was canceled, it was like our spring naturals rescheduled from April to June, it's time to get back on the horse, okay? So it's time to grab the reins, get back on the horse. And the first thing we're going to talk a little bit about today is kind of nutrition. And if at any time, if you guys have questions, we're definitely going to do a Q&A at the end. But if you have questions in the middle, feel free to go ahead and hit that Q&A button that all of you should have, and I'll do my best to answer them. But in terms of nutrition, if you had a contest planned mid-spring, late spring, it's been canceled, it was postponed, you were already on your prep, making progress, I feel, stressed, terrible for any of the folks in that position that were working hard, and then everything came to a screeching halt. It's okay. First things first with nutrition, take a look at where you were planning to compete, when you were planning to compete, how many weeks out were you? If you've chosen a new contest, whether it was a different event, maybe your event was postponed, then you have a new date. Generic right off the bat, if I was working with somebody as a coaching client, the first thing I would say is, all right, so if you are now 9 weeks out, or let's say 10 weeks out from your current contest, that new revised event, I would take a look at what you were doing food-wise at 10 weeks out. And I would start trying to shift back to that standpoint. So I would start moving my calories, my macros, my carbs, protein, and fat. Again, if the new contest is 10 weeks from now, I would look at what I was doing 10 weeks out from the original contest. That would be a decent place to start making adjustments. And yes, for most, that means that you're going to increase your calories. Carbs are probably going to go up. Protein may stay close to the same, and fat may go up. It's okay. So I would look at, if the new date's 10 weeks out, what were we doing at 10 weeks out? I would start with shifting back to that as a starting point. If you're not tracking things, it's really hard to make that adjustment, but hopefully in today's day and age, most, if not all, are using something like MyFitnessPal or Fitbit or some other macro food tracking software, application, app, what have you. And you can look at where you were 10 weeks out from your original event and make that shift so that you're 10 weeks out from your new event. Now, the good news is, by doing that, one, you're going to bring your food back up, which you need to. But two, you're probably going to be leaner today at 10 weeks out than you were at the original 10-week out point. That's huge. So now you're going to be leaner and eating more food, total calories, macros for your new revised date. And again, if you're not tracking, you really need to. So these are screen caps from one of our coaching clients. I just went into my training app and I just pulled them just to have something for you guys to look at and then have some discussion. This next one, I did go and steal an infographic someplace off the internet. But I wanted to have a greater discussion about, all right, so I go back to 10 weeks out. Well, what does that really mean? Well, these are some, I guess, common percentages of macros. And if you'll notice, like, there's a percent of calories that come from each of the macronutrients, and then there's a range. And this is where, it's going to be pretty individual. For folks that are very lean, you're probably, I'm not making an everybody statement here, but people that are already lean are probably going to tolerate more carbs. It's just the way it is for most people. There's individual differences, but for most people, that's what you're going to see. But if we look at maintenance, weight loss, and muscle gain, this tends to be about where our carbs, fat, and protein are going to fall. And again, it's going to be a range because it is an individual thing. But looking at those of you that have had to pause prep, what do you do? Where do you go? How do you make the adjustment? again, I'd be looking at increasing my calories. If my new event is 10 weeks from today, I'd look at a foundational number or set of numbers as where was I at 10 weeks out from my original event. And I would move my calories up to that. Typically, when we raise calories for most, that means we're going to increase carbs and probably increase fat. And protein is going to stay about the same. Protein might even go down a little bit. Why would protein go down? Well, is our caloric intake is increased, the demands for protein are not as great. I probably would not go below 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That would be my floor. I wouldn't go lower than that. But if we're raising calories, typically we can back the protein down to around that number, and we can bump our carbohydrates and our fat up. And that increase in carbs and fat is going to give us our increase in calories. And again, we're going to look at a foundational set of numbers, calories and macros, of if our new contest is 10 weeks from today, what were we doing 10 weeks out from our original event? And I made another example using the same infographic because I like it. It highlights the individual differences as far as that range of each of the macronutrients. And then same deal, you know, if you're going to make it, if you were 8 weeks out and you're now 12 weeks out, go back to week 12. I don't know where everybody is or was with their prep. I don't know whose contests were completely canceled for the spring, maybe pushed back to the fall. I don't know who has chose to do maybe an event in the fall and given up on the spring. So it's hard for me to tell you whether you're at 12 weeks or 10 weeks. You've got to do that simple math on your own. But again, the goal is you're not going to be able to stay in that lower calorie holding pattern for months on end. So I would just make an adjustment. I would go back to, you know, where you may have been at 12 weeks, or I like my 10-week example because the numbers, if nothing else, they're easier for me. Does that make sense to everybody? If not, raise your hand, ask a question. Now here's the biggest thing, and we've got clients right now that we're prepping for shows this spring, and they're kind of in the same boat as some of you, which is I don't want to eat more. I don't want to get fat. I'm scared the scale is going to go up. I don't want to gain weight. I'm already super lean. My Flex Friday pictures are off the hook. I look insane and shredded. I don't want to screw that up. Well, okay, pause, take a deep breath, relax a minute. Remember, your contest is now at a date even further in the future. You've got to start eating more. It's okay. You're not going to get fat, I promise. But we still need to measure progress. The easiest down and dirty way to do that is once a week, same day, same time of day, get on the scale. Don't do it every day. Don't do it twice a day, once a week. Get your weight on the scale. This is a down and dirty, okay? Measure your flex bicep, like the dude in the picture in the middle. And then see how jeans fit out of the dryer. Denim doesn't lie. So if the scale is going up, your flex bicep is going up or staying the same, and your jeans are getting loose in the waist, but tight in the glutes and thighs, in all likelihood, you are gaining muscle and maintaining your body fat percentage, and you may even be losing body fat. Some of you, by increasing your calories and your carbs and your fat, may find that in spite of more food, you lose a little bit of fat, okay? So again, the down and dirty, once a week, same day of the week, same time of day, get your weight on the scale. Janet asked a question. Janet, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to hit your question. Once a week, same day of the week, same time of day, get your weight on the scale. Measure that flex bicep. If you can't do that yourself, and that's just a seamstress or tailor tape measure, just get one of those, get a measurement, have a friend, family member, whatever, training partner, get a measurement, and then take a look how your jeans fit out of the scale. If you're not training upper body, would I still do the measurement? Yeah, because Janet, so the question is, if you're not training your upper body, would you still do this? I would. You know, we've got a great lower body training program that is predominantly deadlift or predominantly squat. Very little upper body training is done. We still see some crossover and benefit to the upper body. I would do this because it could be repeatable. It's something you can do yourself. And again, we're not looking for perfect. The world is never perfect, and it certainly is not perfect with what we have going on right now. So I would still grab that upper body measurement. If you have access to a competent trainer, exercise physiologist, or what have you, and they have skin fold calipers. These are the Lang brand. This is what we used exclusively in my commercial gym. It's exclusively what we use when we work with clients, and they know what they're doing. And the biggest thing, they're repeatable. Same tester, same test device, so same calipers, same person using them. It's not their first time checking body fat. It's not their 100th time checking body fat. They've done it hundreds or thousands of times, which means they're going to be very repeatable. You can do this, but to measure your progress after increasing your calories to confirm you indeed are not getting fat. But again, for most people, the down and dirty is going to be just fine. Hop on the scale once a week, same time of day, get your flex bicep measurement, take a look how your denim fits out of the dryer. Denim never lies. Okay. Any questions on that stuff? So this, like, how many people have seen this in the last 2.5 or 3 weeks, right? First time, pretty much, I think the industry, health, fitness, training, gym industry, whatever, health club, whatever you want to call it, has ever, for the most part, I would easily say 60 or 70% of the country is experiencing this. Sorry, your gym's closed. We don't know when we're opening back up. And many of you that are in the middle of prep are scratching your heads very much so, like, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to give you some basic things. Now, everybody has to remember, the world, as I already said, is never perfect. And it certainly is not perfect right now while we're in a shelter in place, safe at home, wherever you want, whatever your governor, whatever your municipality is calling it. And even if you're in an area of the country where they're not saying that, but maybe your gym's closed, this is uncharted waters. It's not perfect, and that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make the most out of a terribly imperfect situation. So gym's closed, you still want to train. Right off the bat, everybody can do this. This is train at home, okay? And when we look at training, we always look at it, and this is the way I ran it in my commercial gym and with my 12 to 14 employees. We always looked at it not so much as far as, for example, the specific type of squat, but more so like a movement pattern. So we have a squat movement, a press movement, a lunge movement. I put a chair dip in there because I needed something else most you could do at home. A hinge, some step ups, step downs, and then train your whole body daily. So any type of squat, body weight, any type of push-up, body weight, any type of lunge, body weight, chair dips, body weight. Hinge would be a stiff leg deadlift, body weight. It could be single leg deadlift, what have you. Step up and step downs. If you've got an elevation change in your house, upstairs, downstairs, if you're in the Midwest, you have a basement, you can use a step, you can use a milk crate, you can use a block of wood. Just make sure that it's stable and it doesn't, whatever it is you're going to step on doesn't tip over. Train your whole body daily. So what would that look like for body weight? And again, we're making the most out of an imperfect situation. Maybe 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 20 reps of each of these body weight exercises. And if you've been training for a while, I would probably do this every day. It's not going to be overly challenging with just, if you've been training for a long time with just body weight. So you're going to be able to get away with more volume and more frequency. So I'd be looking at 3 to 5 sets, each exercise, 10 to 20 reps, and I would probably do that every day. Okay? And we're kind of, as we work through the imperfect training, we're going to start to incorporate a little bit more equipment. The next thing, Bodyweight, still at home. I just wrote an article on ruck training. You don't, if you know what the ruck races, events, go ruck, whatever, it's basically a heavy duty backpack that you can put weight in. It's not going to fall apart. You don't need to get a ruck. So if you've got kids and they've got a nicer backpack, you can do it with that. If you've got a nicer backpack, you can do it with that. If you got a ruck, that's great. You can definitely do it with that. And so you just need a pack or a backpack, and then you need to add weight. You can use canned food. You can use sandbags. We actually trained a guy to pass a fire department physical test. All he had was a pickup truck and 2 or 3 bags or tubes of sand that he put in the bed for the winter in the Midwest. He had no money to get a gym membership, so the gym was the bed of his truck with those bags. So you just need something heavy, backpack. You can also use furniture sliders to do different movements. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But easy, down, dirty, do-at-home training that's beyond just body weight. Get a backpack, put a bunch of books in it, put some canned food in it, grab a sandbag or anything with weight. It doesn't matter. And you can use that pack. You can squat, you can hinge, you can do push-ups, you can do dips, you can do pull-ups. You can use the bag and do a heavy a bag swing. So if you're familiar with a kettlebell swing, and no, it's not perfect. We're not looking for perfect. But in the article that I wrote for ruck training, we're actually using the pack to do a version of a swing. So just got to get a little creative. Sliders are another option. You know, furniture sliders. We went and bought a pack at Menards. Menards has them. Lowe's has them. Walmart, Target, pretty much any of your stores that are considered essential that are still open are going to have furniture sliders. You can pick those up. We bought some this week to shoot a video. They're $8.50. So again, you can do more than just body weight with minimal investment. You don't need much, and you can make it challenging. Minimal home gym. Stepping beyond that backpack to maybe just some exercise bands or exercise tubes, as little as 1 dumbbell or 1 kettlebell. So I wrote kind of a general physical preparedness workout. We use this with clients or versions of it with clients. So I wrote it out on a Post-it note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises. Again, we're making the most out of an imperfect world. I used 1 dumbbell, 1 30-pound dumbbell, and did goblet squats, stiff leg deadlifts. So except for the goblet squat, these were 1-arm movements, okay? Dumbbell swings, dumbbell rows, dumbbell presses, dumbbell heavy carry. And this isn't a lot of weight for me, but it doesn't matter. It's about making the most out of what you got. This workout, I think I did 5 sets of 10, and I think I cut that off the Post-it note. I'm sorry. 5 sets of 10. It took 25 to 30 minutes. I burned 247 calories, and you can see all these yellow spots in the graph. I got my heart rate over 80% of my max. So again, it's not perfect. It's not what I would do if I was going to a commercial gym, but some of us don't have access to that right now. So we're going to make the most out of what we have. In this case, you could do this with just 1 dumbbell or 1 kettlebell, okay? Minimal equipment. Step 2, minimal, if you want to kind of build and add to what you have at home. Power blocks are great. That's what this picture is really dark. Actually, all 4 of these are dark. I do apologize. But the power block adjustable dumbbells are awesome. The Bowflex adjustable dumbbells are awesome. If you can find them right now, a lot of the stores are sold out. Amazon is sold out, but you can still find them in some markets on Facebook Marketplace. I would start there first. These are mine. These are the 5 to 90-pound set. They're actually the commercial set. To be honest with you, I think the home version is made better than the commercial ones, but I bought these 2 years ago on Facebook Marketplace. These are mine as well. These are the original 5 to 50-pound home version. And these are one of our clients. He shot a picture and shared them with me. These are the Bowflex ones. For most women, from experience working with women, you will probably not need much more than the 50-pound dumbbells. Even at a commercial gym, you're not really going to do many lifts with much more weight than 50-pound dumbbells in each hand. For many adult males, you're probably going to, if you're on this webinar today and you're a competitive physique, bodybuilding, classic physique, and if in powerlifting, absolutely this is true, you're going to need at least the 90-pound dumbbells, and they do have sets that go over 100, but again, we're looking at something you can do at home, doesn't take up a lot of space, isn't going to break the bank. These are it. You could do lifts for all the major muscle groups. No, it's not going to be perfect, but you can still get the job done. And even in my case, I owned a commercial gym for 12 years, and for the last few years of ownership, I trained at home, and this is most of what I used. Now, if you want to go a bit further, this is my step 3 minimal, a trap bar. And here's why I like the trap bar. Before the shutdown, I like the trap bar because it kind of idiot-proofs the deadlift. And if you're not competing in the big 3 in a powerlifting meet, we don't need to worry about doing a conventional barbell deadlift. We're going to get most of the benefit out of the trap bar, and it makes it really hard to hurt yourself. In today's shutdown, lockdown, my gym's closed environment, I like the trap bar because I can move a ton of weight without having to take up the space and the cost, the financial investment of an actual upright rack so I could squat. So I could get quite a bit of benefit out of pulling heavy weight with the trap bar. It's relatively safe, doesn't take up a lot of space, and I don't have to spend the money on a rack. And in the Midwest, most basements will just barely fit a rack. If you don't have a basement, you're looking at spare bedroom or maybe a garage, and quickly you're going to run out of space. This trap bar, you can stand up in the corner. You could pull an SUV or a vehicle over it and just leave it on the floor in the garage. It's not going to take a lot of space. So trap bar, a set of bumper plates for women, like the 260-pound sets or 240, whatever they are, probably be perfect. For guys, you're probably going to need more. Remember, the trap bars, most of them are 55 pounds or more, not 45 pounds like an Olympic bar. But a set of bumpers used in a trap bar and a set of power blocks, and you got a solid setup at home. Not perfect, but you can move some serious weight. You're not going to hurt yourself. You don't need to get a rack. From the use of space at home cost, this is a great bargain. The other thing you can do, and we've been having clients do this for a while, but get a couple full-size diameter bumpers. So you can get some, they can be 25s. I just wouldn't do this with 10s. The 10s are flimsy. But if you get a couple full-size bumpers, then you can go and buy cast iron plates at 35-pound or 25-pound, and the diameter is much smaller. So the cast iron is never going to hit your floor. So it's going to save your floor, especially if you're training in the garage. Now, the black mats, this is a gym owner secret. These are ag mats, stall mats. You can find them at any of your local ag stores. You can get them when they're on sale for like $20, 3/4 inch. That with the bumper plates, you're not going to destroy your floor. And it's not going to make a ton of noise either if you drop the weights or you're setting a heavy load down with the trap bar. So again, you can get a couple full-size diameter bumpers, and then on Facebook Marketplace, I'd be shocked if all the cast iron Olympic plates are sold. You can go buy 35, 25, some 10s and 5s, and you're set. If you want to go further, and I mean, most people don't need to do this, but if you wanted to, like our home setup, I've got a couple landmines that I designed and fabbed. I've got a set of bumper plates. I've got a couple Olympic bars. I've got a trap bar. I've got a few benches. I do have a rack. I've got a cable system, multi-station that I took out of my club. We got a set of dumbbells. I'm showing you this. I'm telling you, you don't need all this. Like quite literally, if you can go buy one dumbbell, you're going to be set. If you can find some power blocks, 0 or 5 to 50, you're going to be up and running. It's going to get you through the next few weeks. but you don't need to worry about having, 400 square feet or whatever. Let's see, somebody's got a question. I'm looking for your question. Here we go. Can you use a non-Olympic barbell for landmine work? Sure. The only thing I would caution you against is if you're going to use, so for those that don't know a landmine, this barbell here is in a landmine and an Olympic plate in the corner of my room here. A landmine is a device that allows you to do this. You can use a non-Olympic diameter barbell. Typically, the end of the Olympic barbells is, I don't know, remember, is it 2 inch, 2.5 inch, something like that. You can use a smaller diameter in it, but it's probably going to move around a little bit in the landmine, Meg. The other thing is don't jam the bar in the corner. The bars will saw through the drywall and the material in the corner of your walls. The barbell without a landmine will saw through cinder blocks. I had both happen in my commercial club. That's why I went and built a bunch of landmines, so that there was no reason the meatheads would do that. All right. So if we're training at home, and hopefully you guys can read that text. I wonder if I can do this. You're going to be limited. You're not going to have a full commercial gym, and that's okay. We're going to make the most out of it. How do we make things challenging? There's a few ways. You can use more weight. You can do more sets. German volume training. 10 sets of 10. So a lightweight, you got to get all 10 sets of 10. Great way to train. Great way to train for hypertrophy. Totally different from a volume standpoint than what most people are used to. Great way to up the intensity. Superset. The dumbbell workout I showed you guys, 25, 30 minutes, 5 sets of 10. It was basically a giant set. So I did a set of each lift and then rested like 30 seconds after my 5th or 6th lift. So that'd be a giant set. Superset. Right now when I'm training, like regular training, I'll typically do back and chest the same day. I'll do a set of a back movement and then a set of a chest movement, rest. So supersetting is another way to manage your intensity and increase it. Train your whole body. A lot of us, since we have commercial gyms and we've got a bazillion machines for every body part, we tend to train a body part or a pair of body parts per day. Training your whole body every day with one major lift per major muscle group is something a lot of us haven't done in a long time. So it's going to be different just because it's probably going to be radically different for some. It's going to drive intensity up. Train more often, back to my body weight exercise only in training, 3 sets, maybe 5 sets, 10 to 20 reps, body weight, doing it every day. That's going to up the intensity. Training single side. I think it was Ian King on what now is testosterone.net or TMAG or whatever they call it now. He did a great piece. I think he's an Australian strength coach. He did a great piece called Limping to Pain, probably 20 years ago. It was single leg training. So stiff leg deadlifts, one leg at a time. Pistol squats, step downs. Again, training just one side, you can use much less weight because you're only using, say, your left leg, and it's going to allow you to use those smaller dumbbells, and it's still going to be challenging. Same thing with overhead presses and things of that nature. The other nice thing about training single side is there tends to be a much greater functional crossover or benefit to daily activity. So instead of just training the shoulder per se, and because you're not on a machine, you're going to be training one arm or one shoulder, one side of the body, and you're going to get all of that crossover into your core. Same thing with a dumbbell suitcase lift. You're going to get all of that core benefit that you wouldn't get from training with a weight in each hand. And if some of you are looking like this, and you're like, I don't know what in the world a suitcase lift is, I'm going to give you guys some resources where you can go see some of that. Super fast, super easy. But these are ways to increase your intensity. Less rest between sets, more weight, more sets, more volume, train more often, etc. Again, we're not looking for perfect. We're looking for what you can do to get us through what's hopefully going to be a very short period of time. And then the gyms will open back up. We'll get back to our normal. Movement's not exercises. I mentioned this before. This is the structure we use to train hundreds of people a month in our club. We would always do a warm-up, dynamic warm-up, and then after the warm-up, we'd have the strength component. We would do some type of squat, some type of hinge, some type of lunge, some type of press, some type of row, and then a heavy carry. We do core work and metabolics. So our squat, and if you're training at home, this could be a bodyweight air squat. It could be a pause squat or a 1 1/3 squat. It could be a single dumbbell overhead squat. It could be a single dumbbell suitcase lift or a suitcase squat. It could be a goblet squat. It could be a 2 dumbbell front squat. It doesn't matter. We're just talking in terms of movement patterns. So you guys, if you're watching this, you can screen cap that and just plug in your own exercises with what you have access to, and you could build a really solid workout plan. Like, this works. We did this all the time with people. Core, now avoiding the need to have developed rectus abdominis muscles that are really thick for, say, physique contest. And the concern that some folks might have some iliosacral L5 SI joint issues. This is a safe way to train the core. Plank, side plank, McGill curl up, bird dog, cat, camel. And I'm going to give you guys a resource where you can find out what all that stuff is. Metabolic, so stuff to get your heart rate up. No equipment, no treadmill, no elliptical, no stepper, no stair mill, no rower. No worries, we got you covered. Burpees, jumping jacks, sprint strides, 1 1/3 squats, mountain climbers, etc. It's all stuff you can do on the front lawn, in the garage, the backyard, the basement, the living room, your bedroom, whatever. You need no equipment. Foam roll and stretch. So this is the format of a great way to train the entire body, and you need very little equipment. Think in terms of the movement patterns, and then plug in what you got. Jen, you raise your hand. What can I help you with? If you got a question, go ahead and click the Q&A button and feel free to ask Jen. The other thing with kind of this downtime or short-term new normal is spend some time on addressing those imbalances. This is a huge opportunity. We see a lot of people that have been training for a long time with overuse injuries or kind of a recurring injury from a prior athletic incident. Maybe they played sports, organized sports, high school, college, never have allowed time to be invested in that rehab, prehab. Now's a great time to do that. If you do that now, shoulder rehab, low back rehab, knee rehab, if you invest that time now, the gyms are going to open back up. We are going to get back to what we were doing a month and a half ago. And if you do these things now, address the imbalances now, you're going to be more safely able to train the way you want to train in your commercial gym. You're not going to be stuck having to tiptoe around that nagging shoulder injury, having to tiptoe around that patellar tendonitis you have in your knee that you've never allowed time to heal or invested time in rehab, prehab. Janet asked, would I do the whole body workout as a circuit? Yes. So I'm going to jump back. I normally never do this, but if we're going to train like this, and this is the way, like, I know this works. We did it in my gym. All my trainers ran our training this way all the time. Did this for years. I couldn't even tell you how many clients. So we would warm up, set of whatever our squat is. And again, we're going to talk movement. You use what you got. If you got a couple of soup cans, there you go. You're going to do a set of squats, set of hinge, set of lunge, set of press, set of row, heavy carry, rest. So squat, hinge, lunge, press, row, carry, rest. If it's 3 sets, we'll have one more round of squat, hinge, lunge, press, row, carry, rest. We'll knock out the core. We'll do our metabolic work, foam roll, and stretch. Does that make sense? If not, let me know. Again, right now is a great time to invest in correcting those nagging issues, that knee issue that's never gone away, the shoulder rehab, prehab that physical therapist told you needed to do and you haven't done since physical therapy. Just do that now. Like, we've had competitive clients that we're in the middle of prepping to get on stage, and we're having to choose lifts and movement patterns around injuries. Take the time now, get rid of those injuries. You'll be grateful later. All right, resources. So we started a workout at home Facebook group. If you're interested, I'm posting free stuff there a few times a week. I'm shooting video, I'm using still images, and I'm including programming. So if you're looking for more ideas, check, you can find me on Facebook, shoot me an email. If you can't find me, I'll send you the link. Join the group. Lots of great information. We were able to, because of this, we were able to help a few people down in Florida that needed home equipment, bumper plates. One of them went and got bumper plates, and then because I was aware of it, because we were discussing it in the group, I had another client down in Florida that was looking for equipment, as was a coworker. Well, I turned them onto that person. So it's a huge resource. Leverage the power of social media. It's going to make getting through this easier. You're going to have a community that understands what you're going through. I mean, the reality of it is most of us aren't going to have the majority of our friends and family members that understand how big of a deal it is not being able to go to a commercial gym. People interested in this get it. They're in the same boat as you. So it's a great sharing of experience, knowledge, and what have you. Other resources, when we had our club, which was named FitWorks, they had a YouTube channel. Imagine that. Well, the YouTube channel has over 1,500 videos. 1,500 videos. So this is huge resource in terms of tips, tricks, hacks. There's, I don't know how many videos on nutrition. There's testimonial videos. There's training videos. There's how-to videos. There's all of that. But this is where you're going to find a lot of value. This is one of the resources I mentioned earlier. So if you're looking at different names of exercises and movements, or you need ideas, you've got a pair of dumbbells and you're going to go buy the furniture sliders. How can you build something, put it together with that pair of dumbbells and sliders? Well, you can go right to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/fitworks with a Z as in zebra, DeKalb, fitworks.com/fitworksDeKalb. And you can, first of all, I've been building out playlists based off what people have. So there's 25 exercises with sliders. I'm building out a core section. There's dozens of core exercises. We're building it out. Resistance band exercises. There's over a dozen exercises there. We had somebody post in our group, tight hip flexors. What are some things they can do to loosen up the lower body? Well, we've got 16 videos on how to improve joint mobility, flexibility of the lower extremities. It's all right here, totally free. 53 exercises, workouts, training stuff you can do at home. It's all on the YouTube channel. Like, I'm lucky that I had a great team for many years. We were building this out for a long time. And now we can share this with other people that need ideas. How do you search the channel? If you go to the channel, you do this on any YouTube channel. You click the magnifying glass that's here. You can type in what you're looking for, and it will pull them up on that channel. So youtube.com/fitworksDeKalb. I search bodyweight exercises by typing bodyweight exercises next to the magnifying glass, and this is what it pulled up. And it will allow you to scroll only body weight exercises. So real fast, you can use this YouTube channel to search for things that you can do at home with what you have access to. So if you look at that format for the whole body workout and you look at what equipment you have in the spare bedroom, the garage, the basement, or what's still available at your local Walmart or Target or store, or that you can get from Facebook Marketplace, you can start figuring out how to build your own workout. And these things work. Like these are my trainers, my staff, my club. It's the stuff that we did day in and day out in our gym. It works. All right. So use the resources, guys. And that is youtube.com/fitworksdekalb. I'll send you guys an email. So it's kind of a mouthful, so you can find it with a link, but use it. Subscribe to the channel. I will be posting and editing and adding content fairly regularly now. Subscribe and you'll know whenever we add stuff. And search it. If you're looking for ideas, jump on there and search. Check out the playlist. Every time in our Facebook group somebody asks about something, I'll go create a playlist. And I'll just keep doing that until we get through this mess. Not perfect, but it's, you know, we've got the resources. We've got some of the information and the stuff's already out there. I'll just put it together and share it with you guys. Okay. Now, current status for the OCB. This is going to be crazy hard to read, and that's okay. If you are competing with us, you're unsure what's going on with your show, the fastest and easiest way to find out what's going on is threefold. One, follow the official OCB Instagram page. Where do you find that? OCBonline.com. Up at the top, click the icon and follow the page. Follow the Instagram and Facebook pages. Following any of us on social media is going to be the fastest way to get the latest and greatest info. OCBonline.com, go to the schedule events. The OCB is constantly updating as there's changes, postponements, reschedules, or unfortunately some cancellations. It's showing up right here. So OCBonline.com. The other thing is join the OCB mailing list. Why? You're not going to get spammed. You're only going to get information about events in the OCB and what's going on within the organization. Join the mailing list. So easy thing to remember, OCBonline.com, OCBonline.com. Again, if you want the latest breaking news, it's going to show up on social media first. So follow the social media pages. Again, OCBonline.com, click the link up at the top. You can go right here and follow the OCB page. The Orton Cup is still going on, and it is still going on in August. Again, OCBonline.com, and you can see the information. The Orton is still happening. There's still going to be $90,000 in guaranteed payouts. $90,000 in guaranteed payouts. So if you are hoping to earn your pro card, there's not a ton of time, but there is time. There are going to be, as of right now, some OCB events late spring, early summer, where you can potentially earn a pro card and go compete at the Orton, have a chance to earn some significant money at the Orton. First place pays $7,500, second $5,000, third $2,500. And here's what's really cool. And the majority of you that registered for the webinar confirmed this. Women get paid the same as men. And ironically, even though there's more women registered for this webinar, more women entering our contest thanks to Bikini and Figure, a lot of times pro organizations don't pay the women what the men get paid. They get paid less. Makes no sense. This past year, I think the OCB started changing it. This year, it's for sure changed. If you're a female, you compete as a pro, you win, you earn the same as the male counterparts do. The same deal on the OCB Pro events. You go to OCBonline.com, click the events tab, click the pro schedule. It's going to show you what's going on with events. If they're still happening, if they're postponed, rescheduled, what have you, OCBonline.com. That's one of the websites. If you remember that, you're going to be able to go and get the information you need and get signed up or follow the social media pages. So as there are changes and updates, you hear about them as soon as they're available. We're all going to be back on stage, you know, hopefully a lot sooner than later. I wish I could tell you exactly when, you know, I wish I could go into the future and say, you know what, on this date in 2020, the world returned to normal. It's not going to happen. But what is going to happen is we are going to get back on stage. It's going to happen. remember, hit the pause button, stop panicking, catch your breath, relax a little bit. We're training, dieting, imperfect time. That's all right. Work with what you got. You'll be fine. We are going to be back on stage. Some key, and if you want to screen cap this, go ahead. Here's some key pages for my group. OCBMidwestStates.com. That's my event page. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm guessing you guys can see it. That's our YouTube page, my Facebook, my Instagram. For the OCB organization, I would go to OCBOnline.com, join the mailing list, click the social links, and you can see the schedule there. Apparently, I copied that slide. So, any questions? That was all I had planned. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. If nothing else, maybe allowed the blood pressure, heart rate to come down, some of the anxiety to subside. I will hang out as long as you guys want to ask questions. I'm happy to do so. Again, I appreciate you taking time to join us today. We had a significant number of people joining the webinar. For those that asked questions already, thank you. We are going to get back to normal when I wish I could tell you, but I can tell you we are going to get back to normal. Sent a great job. Her show was today. It's canceled. She's looking at November. Has already upped her calories, doing what you can with Bodyweight. Again, for those of you looking for ideas for Bodyweight and whatnot, hit our Facebook group, join it, and then use that YouTube channel. I mean, there's over 1,500 videos, and I've started to add more every couple of days, if not every day. There's tons of information there. Go out there and get it. Use it to your advantage. Is the OCB extending membership expiration? Joe, I don't know if that's an OCB question directly. I'm not sure. I would say I would ask them. I know, right now and part of it is right now nobody knows for sure what's going on when. So they may not even have an exact answer, but I would say reach out to the OCB directly. And I believe there's a contact link right on the OCBOnline.com site. Jen, thanks for the feedback. Again, I will stick around today. You bet, Joe. You bet. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. Again, I'll stick around as long as you guys have questions. Paulina, right now we're going to say, we all have to be realistic. We're all in the same boat. I'd be patient. Let's see what happens the next few weeks. Let's start there. Because I'm trying to be very optimistic. I'm hoping that we're back to normal sooner than later. And I think some areas of the country were shut down, locked down, shelter in place sooner than others. And hopefully those will return to normal sooner. So I would say, right now I'm not willing to make a call on shifting to the fall. I don't think we're there yet. Donnie, thanks, man. Appreciate you showing up today. Joe, you bet. Joe said good luck to everybody. And yeah, good luck to everybody. We're all in this together. And there again, I can't say enough. One fortunate thing is we have social media. By all means, leverage the power of social media. Seek out those groups. Seek out the our group, the Workout at Home group. It's going to be people just like you. They've got the same struggles. It's a great sharing of information. We were able to go and connect people for bumper plates. I'm in Illinois, and we were able to connect folks down in Florida. That never would have been possible without the power of social media. So join the groups, leverage them, take advantage of them. Janet, I remember you. I'm happy to hear that you found this motivational. We were hoping that there'd be value, recognizing that everybody's just kind of in a funk right now. I talked to some folks at the OCB on Thursday. Normally we market events for a week. This one I said, you know what, I can pull something together of value, I believe, in just over a day. And I'm glad you guys are finding value. Again, as you guys have questions, I'll hang out as long as you got them. YouTube channel, youtube.com/fitworks with a Z as in zebra DeKalb, 1,500 videos. The workout at home group, lots of power, lots of value there. Roxanne, you bet. Roxanne, did this answer some of your questions if you're still hanging out that you emailed me about? Did this help with some of that from the reverse dieting standpoint? Did it give you at least some direction and maybe some place to look to get back on track? Gail asks, this is great. This is a really good question. How do you keep the mental muscle going? I'm gonna be honest with you. In my opinion and experience, one of the best ways to keep the mental muscle going and break out of this funk is join some groups of like-minded people. Again, what we do as competitors is not the norm. And the person in the office next to you, the cubicle next to you, your next door neighbor, or even the person in the bedroom next to yours, they probably can't relate. But if you join some of these groups, they're full of people that can. So, I'm big on leveraging the power of social media. I mean, there's sections in 2 of my books that talk about that. And they're, get on social media, find a group of like-minded people and leverage the power of the group, leverage the power of the herd, if you will. That's how you build and maintain that mental muscle. Good question, Gail. Roxanne, I'm glad that helped you out. That's awesome. You bet, Cal, you bet. And for those that stuck around, we have had some desktop computer issues. So I ran this through a laptop that's plugged into another device that's plugged into a monitor, and I'm using a toggle for wireless devices. Could you guys see the slides okay? I probably should have asked that earlier on. Awesome. Thanks for responding, guys. Yeah, I can't, on my end, things are different. And yesterday we kind of did a beta test and I unhooked some stuff and it actually lost the screen share and turned the camera on. So Tony, thank you. Heather, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, in all of you, Paulina, great comment. Here's the reality. You can only work with what you got. We can't change what's going on in the world right now. We can only manage it and kind of play the hand that we're dealt and just do the best with what that hand is. If it's one dumbbell in the basement and it's too light, you're a 195-pound male bodybuilding competitor, you have 115-pound dumbbell, you're going to make it work. It's not perfect. That's okay. That's okay. You'll make it work, and that's all that matters. It's not perfect, but we don't live in a perfect world. The world wasn't perfect 2 months ago. It's interesting. So a couple of you actually were to be on stage today, and that's interesting. What a coincidence that we're doing this today. So I hope some of you, yeah. And by the way, you're not alone. Again, back to the power of the group. If you were a bit depressed, upset, emotional that your show was canceled, I can tell you, I've talked to you probably a half dozen competitors by phone that were planning to do our show this April that got postponed to June. You're not alone. And again, leveraging the power of the groups, you're going to find people that feel the same way you do. Where you're not going to find that, with your next door neighbor, they can't even relate to going to the gym, yet alone your contest was canceled. Anything else anyone's got? Meg, that's a good question. I will create a very gray, obscure answer and say yes, possibly. I've thought about that. Can we do that? Yes. I would say stay tuned. Follow us on social, because if we do something, it's going to show up there. But it's definitely a potential possibility. Thanks to technology. Again, on one hand, we're lucky, those still here, that it's 2020. We have the technology we do. We've got all the social media platforms. We can reach out and communicate with people that are in the same boat. And I'm able to do a webinar like this. You know, a few years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this with you, any of you. So it's, you know, we're lucky that we've got the tech. I'll hang out for about another minute or two unless I see questions from you all. Those that are remaining, where's everybody from? South Carolina, Maryland. New York, Georgia, Shelton, Connecticut, Tennessee, Virginia, Twin Cities, Minnesota, Wisconsin, another Twin Cities, another Minnesota. All right, Janet asked, the NANBF judges figure based on the T factor. Janet, if you mean the T walk, the OCB does not use the T walk for scoring. In fact, we always felt at our shows that there was a percent of competitors that didn't want to do a T walk, a stage walk, or an individual posing routine. So we made it optional. But today in the OCB, the T walk is not scored. Another good question. Chicago, New Jersey, Iowa. So we pretty much, this wasn't an all East Coast and was not an all Midwest. Janet, I would look at the OCBonline.com. I would go to guidelines. I'd click figure, and it's going to show you the front, side, and rear facings for figure and what the judges are looking for. I understand your question as far as how they're saying figure should stand. I always recommend competitors should always reference the individual organization's website and guidelines and make sure they're abiding by what the most current information is. And that typically, at least for the OCB, it's going to show up on the OCB website first. So I would check that out. Good question. Anything else from anyone? I'll stick around all day and answer you guys' questions. I think this is awesome. As long as you're finding value. If those that are remaining, if there's something we didn't cover and you'd like to see covered in the future, shoot me an email, send me a message. Definitely add that. Tony, you got it, man. Thanks for joining us today. I will definitely do another webinar. If you guys, I have no problem doing these regularly. If we have the content, we can provide value and there's enough interest. I don't have a problem with it. But if there's something you guys want to see, something you feel is valuable, I'd rather cover what's of interest. You bet, Elena. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. Stay healthy. All right, we'll start winding down. Tony, we'll see you later. Again, thanks everybody. From a promotion standpoint and having to have postponed our spring contest, I get it. I understand the situation. We're all in this together. It will pass. We'll get through it. We all will see a return to stage. It just may be a little bit, and things might be slightly different, but we can make this work. We can share knowledge, get out there, leverage the power of social media, jump on the websites, grab the information, put it to work, make use of it. Thanks for joining us today. If you guys have feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a message. I will send all of you an email with hyperlinks so that if you want to easily access some of the resources and information I shared today, it'll be at your fingertips, one click away. I'll give it about 30 seconds. If nobody asks anything, I will stop the screen share and end the webinar. All right, everybody. It has been absolutely awesome. Thanks again for showing up and participating. Good luck with your training. It's not going to be perfect for a little while, but it wasn't perfect 2 months ago. Work with what you got. Good luck in your prep. Hope to see you on stage, maybe even our stage at the historic Egyptian Theater in DeKalb, Illinois, sometime soon. Take care, everyone. See ya.